It's day 15. Yay! Hopefully you are finding this valuable. I know I am. From a selfish point of view, this has been great for me. Gets me out of my pajamas. And even the bottoms, I'm not wearing pajamas. I actually have pants on. So if you're here watching the replay, hit hashtag replay, please, so I can send you a little love. So good to see you. We will start at 5 minutes after, as usual. But today's focus is going to be, well, on favor again, but on favor as it relates to how it is. Yesterday we mentioned this, but we're going to talk a little bit more about it, how it is a cure for fear and how it's a setup for the impossible. I believe in the impossible. I have seen the impossible in my life so many times. I forget sometimes that the impossible has occurred oftentimes, and I get stuck sometimes in my own thinking, my negative thinking, my worry, whatever it is. You know, I've been working on this a long time, right? But anyway, we don't need to settle. We don't need to settle. We have got a big God and we have a lot of favor, unlimited supply, so we don't have to settle. So anyway, I'm looking forward to talking about this with you. I want to also start with a brief discussion about bullying and how does favor help with bullying. All right. I've had a couple of people that have reached out to me about that. So we're going to take that on as well today. All right. Okie dokie. Yes. Hang on a second. I'm looking to make sure that I've got everything set up here right. Okay. So, who is on? Give me a little love. Give me a little love. Another reason I like these Facebook Lives is because it connects me with you guys. And that's really fun. It's enriching. It feels good to my soul. You know, I know not everybody is interested in this topic or what I'm doing here, but some of you are, and that's enriching to my soul. So stop on by, make sure you send me a little love, and I can send it back to you too. A question I have also for you is, has anything shifted for you? Are you actually experiencing more love in your life? Are you feeling more loved? Are you seeing more loved? Right? That's the point of this. That's the point of this. So hopefully you are. And if you are, I would love to hear about it. It's funny. I haven't looked at the analytics in a while. And it's interesting to note that most people, the highest number of people that are watching at like 15 minutes in. Isn't that funny? Yeah, about 15 minutes in. So I can't gauge. I just shoot off and I start doing my thing. And that's all there is to that. When people show up, they show up. So if you're here, and I see there's a couple of you that are on, I'd love for you to say hi. Give me a little love, okay? And just about 30 more seconds and we're going to get started. Mm-hmm. I know that some of you stop in, watch a few seconds, maybe watch a couple of minutes, and then you're off. But even in that time, I'm hoping that you'll get something, even if it's only 30 seconds, that God will give you something, that there will be something you'll tune in at just the right time for that little piece, that little nugget, You don't have to listen to the whole thing. But yeah. All right. Okay, so let's get started. I want to start with the issue of bullying and how does favor address the issue of bullying. And I think what we have to remember is this: favor is that state of being. It's also a special force, a power of love, a byproduct of God's love, right? That actually sets us up for good things, sets us up for good opportunities, good relationships, resources. But besides that, it's a way that we're looked at. It's a way that God looks at us. So when we're not feeling favored by people, maybe even feeling bullied by people, and oftentimes it's in the workplace. A lot of times it's in relationships too, and partnerships, husband and wife relationships, marriages, boyfriend, girlfriend, right? It can even happen with children bullying their parents, right? So when that happens, hello, my darling Dee. I'm glad to see you. When we feel bullied, and a lot of times the bullying is in the workplace. And the two people that reached out to me about it actually are struggling with bullying in the workplace. Usually, if this is something that happens often, then it means that there is some pattern that has already been developed. Bullying, being a subject of bullying, doesn't just arise out of nowhere. Okay. It doesn't just like you're going along through life, you've never been bullied, and all of a sudden, bam, you're bullied. It doesn't happen that way. Usually you can look back and you can see that bullying started at a very young age. Some people have very, very strong, critical, um, how can I say, bullying parents. All right. They were raised with being bullied, and they got used to it. All right. Maybe they try to react against it. Maybe they try to stand on their own tiptoes and fight against it. Maybe they tried to be rebellious in order to show that person who's bullying them that you don't have me, that you're not affecting me. But what has gotten ingrained in them is this belief that they have to, that they're actually worthy of bullying. All right. They deserve it somehow. And that's kind of like the problem with guilt, because guilt says somehow or another you deserve bad treatment because you've been bad. A lot of times when we're bullied as children, it's because it's under the, oh, what am I going to say? The rationale. It's under the rationale that you've been bad, so you need to be spanked, you need to be punished, you need to be treated oppressively, so that and if you buck your parents in any way, then they're going to rise up even more, and then you're going to be bullied even more. All right. Again, this is not to say that we are to blame our parents for things. Most parents love us and they're doing the best job they know how to do. But I want you to recognize, though, if bullying is a pattern. Now, if it is a pattern and you're starting to see that, you have a little awareness and you can point out it here and that relationship and in that situation, right? Then you've got some options. Go and get some help. Get a therapist to help you understand what the patterns are. If this is something that is getting in the way of your hopes and your dreams and your deepest desires, then I could be somebody that could help you with that. All right. But bullying can be something that is very difficult to deal with, right? So here's what I want to share with you about that. How do you change bullying, and what does favor have to do with it? Well, the way that you change it, once you understand that this is a pattern, all right, you first have to have that awareness that this is a pattern. You change it by first believing and proclaiming that you have favor with God, that you are favored, that you have favor. That means that special privilege, approving consideration. All right. A lot of times the people who are bullying you are giving you the impression, and maybe the very strong message, that you are not approved of, that there's something that they find wrong with you, offensive with you, something where they have got to be over and above you, right? Favor says you are approved. God has approved of you. He finds you approved, approvable, right? That is very important for us to grab a hold of. We have to understand that we have favor with God. That means we're approved by God, that He sees us as perfect. He doesn't see us as having all these flaws and failings, right? And He treats us accordingly. He treats us with actually special privilege. But the first step is believing that this is true. Knowing it's true, but believing this is true, and then receiving that for yourself. So chances are, if you're getting bullied, you have not received this. You have not received this for yourself, right? And I don't care how many times you'll yell in somebody's face or you get aggressive back with them and you say, you can't bully me, or you run away, all right? Those are all measures that we take to deal with it, right? But it doesn't matter. If you haven't received, believed and received that you are favored right down to the cellular level, everything about you is favored by God, you will be subject to bullying. Let that sink a minute. Now, if that's the case, though, if you do believe it, if you do receive it, then you don't have to fear. You don't have to fear people's opinion. You don't have to fear, even if they are in charge of assessing you and deciding whether or not you have performed well, all right? When you understand the favor that you have, you perform better. And the reason you perform better is because you are more secure. You're more secure, all right? You feel more at peace. You have more confidence, which gives you the ability to think more clearly. It gives you the confidence to think more clearly. Now, D says, it's difficult when it's a relative. Oh, it is for sure. It's very difficult, especially in a relative in a situation that you can't distance yourself from. Yeah. But I will say that if you focus more on the favor that God has given to you and you receive and receive and you receive an abundance of favor, then you will be able to sustain and to thrive in that relationship or know what to do to distance yourself. Okay? Because not every relationship, and I say, even if you're married, not every relationship is favorable. It just isn't. Okay? But sometimes we can change that. Sometimes we can change that by changing ourselves. Oh my gosh, I just had a thought. So the other thing is this, you have to know that no one can take your favored position away from you. Okay? If you have favor with God. Now the thing is this relative, and I'll talk more about this later, but this relative that may be giving you trouble, right? That relative can also has favor with God. Yeah, that relative has favor with God. The problem is they might not know they have favor with God. They might not believe they have favor with God, and they certainly haven't been drenched in it. They certainly haven't thought to themselves, I am highly favored. I'm so full of favor. Remember Romans 5:17. Romans 5:17 says, he or she who receives an abundance of grace and favor and the free gift of righteousness, which is approval, which is there's nothing wrong with you, right? You're not guilty for anything, so don't go there. But he who receives that free gift will reign in this life. You will reign over your emotions. You will reign in your circumstances. REIGN, reign as a king or a queen through the power of God, through the power of love, through the power of favor. This is how we reign, okay? But we first have to get to the point of receiving. And before we can receive, we have to believe, right? We have to believe. So you work on your belief. And that's going to you're going to open your capacity to receive more favor. Um, you can then say things like the world, or you can even say a specific individual. You can even say my manager, right? You can say my coworker, my manager, my husband, my friend is here to help me, is here to help me, support me, love on me as I am them. So you want to start training your eyes to not get offended, but see how they're helping you. Now, that doesn't mean you take the bullying, but with that confidence inside that you are worthy, eventually they get the point. Okay. And if you have to have a heart to heart conversation with them, you can say it. You can have that heart to heart with greater confidence. Greater confidence. So I receive and declare the favor of God. I am worthy of respect. And that's oftentimes what is missing. It's that respect. So I remember one of the things my mother did was she tried to beat respect out of us. If we didn't respect her, then, we'd get a thrashing. You can't beat respect into somebody. You can instill fear. It may look like respect, but it's not. Genuine respect is I don't want to say it's earned, but genuine respect flows mostly from you being you, by your confidence. So you can say, I receive and declare the favor of God. I am worthy of respect. May God's love and favor overflow. I am safe and significant. Let me run that by you one more time. I receive. I receive the favor of God. I receive that I have favor, and I am favored, and favor works on my behalf. I receive this. And I declare favor in all my situations. I declare favor in all my relationships, and you can even declare it in a specific relationship, a specific circumstance. May God's love and favor overflow. I am safe and significant. Okay? When we were buying the house, I don't know if there's many agencies or organizations that bully people as much as the IRS. Yep. It can evoke terror. Why? Because if you do things wrong in the eyes of the IRS, it could cost you big time. And it can prevent you from buying a house. It could prevent you from getting any credit. There's a lot of things that the IRS can do. It can put you in jail, right? If you can't prove to them, even if it's true, if you can't prove to them to their satisfaction that you did not evade taxes or that you didn't skimp or whatever it is, then you could end up with some serious trouble. So the IRS has got this big hammer that can hang over your head and they can bully you with this. So when we were going to buy our house, 5 days before closing, something came up that we were not aware of, that the IRS had wrongly put a lien in our credit report, right? They never put a lien on us, our property, or anything, but there was a lien that had been put wrongly on our credit report. And so when the title company saw this 5 days before closing, they said, we can't close unless this is taken care of. So we'd been trying to get a hold of the IRS, couldn't get a hold of them. And finally, it was like the day, 5 days, I said, this is our day. This is our day. The IRS is here to serve us. The IRS here is on my side. The IRS, and I said all these words before I made the phone call. I had to get my mind squared away. I had to get my heart settled and full. You can do this before you go into work. You can do this before you're going to have time with, this relative who is giving you a hard time, right? I'm secure. I'm secure. I am full of love. I am full of favor. And whoever that person is bullying you, you can say, and they're here to support me. They're here to support me. Now, sometimes a person is there to support you in a very aggressive and obnoxious sort of way that can feel like they're disrespecting you, right? But you can show up and go, this agency, the IRS, similar to this, the IRS is here to support me. The IRS is here to help me to get this house. All right? So I finally got a hold of that person. My whole attitude toward her reflected what I was feeling inside, which was joy. I felt joy at the idea and a little amused at the idea that the IRS was going to help me, right? Well, as soon as I started talking to her, I did not get that response. I didn't get the response that says, yes, I'm here to help you and I can't wait to help you. No, it didn't happen like that. Instead, what I got was, I'm sorry, there's nothing we can do. I'm sorry. And even if I were to try to do something now, it's going to take weeks before it shows up on your credit report. And I don't know what to tell you. I am sorry about that. And even after my most wonderful explanation of how this was not supposed to be and this was a mistake, she goes, well, even if it is, nothing is going to take place now. I can't help you. And she stood her ground. And I stood my ground. And I stood my ground by, continue to think, no, there's a way. There is a way. And we have to figure out what that way is. And her name is Cynthia. And I said, Cynthia, I know you want to help me. I actually said those words. I know you want to help me. I know that there's a way for us to figure this out together. And as soon as I put her on my side, her demeanor changed. And she was like, well, actually. And then she told me about something she could do, but I was not to tell anybody, that it's not something the IRS allows, but she was going to do it anyway. Okay. And we solved the problem together. And not only that, but she ended up calling the title company on my behalf to let them know what she had done, which was to lift the lien off of our credit report. And then I wrote her back and I said, I can't tell you how happy this has made me. Thank you so much. And she rates me back and she said, you made my day. The IRS telling me I made their day. Okay. You know, we have a lot more power than we know we have. And that power is favor, and that power is love. And when we declare things and we believe it, we receive it and we declare it, right? It's almost like the energy, the vibration, the universe, things line up for us. This is a real thing. But if we're so used to being on the offensive, in the defensive, right? If we're so used to being bullied, if we're so used to feeling like we're not worthy, then we're just going to take the scraps. We're going to take whatever we get. You know, we're not going to assert the power that we have in a gracious and loving way, which is the most effective way. Okay. So is there anybody that has any thoughts about that? And if you're watching the replay, feel free to put them in the comments. Okay. And if I don't get anything about that, there's a couple more things I do want to talk to you about before we get off. All right. What is the proof? What's some biblical proof that we have that favor is important? And yesterday, we were talking about how people said, maybe I did say this yesterday. Anyway, thank you, Dee. Yes, you were with me through that process. You were there. You heard it right off the press. Yesterday, we talked about how oftentimes people said, if I have favor in your sight. If I have favor in your sight, they said it to God, they said it to the kings, they said it to people in authority. And that meant, will you give me my request? If I have favor in your sight and you did, that meant you are going to get your request fulfilled. All right? You are going to get your request fulfilled. We do not have to ask if I have favor in your sight. We don't have to say if. We can say, since I have favor in your sight, will you fulfill my request? Okay? If I have favor in your sight is not, we don't do that anymore because God restored the whole world to favor. Okay? That's in Second Corinthians. I don't have the passage off the top of my head. But according to Second Corinthians, the whole world has been restored to favor. Okay? So we don't have to say if, we can say since. Since I have your favor, I need help here. Since I have your favor, I need you to do this for me, right? Okay, there's no if, it's a since. So with that, we have heard the passage that where Mary has the angel come to her. I think Luke 1, verses 28 through 30. The angel comes to Mary and says, hail, hail, highly favored one of God. Hail, right? God is with you. You are highly favored. God is with you. All right. 3 things there. Hail means I got some good news for you. It means cheer up. I got some good news for you, right? You are highly favored. All right. Of course, we're all going, well, of course, Mary was highly favored, but what about me? I'm going to address that tomorrow. There are some actual scripture verses that help you to see that you are as favored as Mary. Now, for some Catholics, that may be, heretical, but biblically speaking, you are as favored as Mary, right? And the third thing is the Lord is with you, with you. So to be highly favored means that God is with you, means love is with you. Now, I want you to think about that word with. With is with. It's not just side by side, arm in arm. It's like with, like you and me, we're like this. Okay? There's no separation. That's with. All right? Whatever we're doing in life together, we're doing it with each other. And I want you to remember that there is a verse that says, what's impossible with man is possible with God. With. There it is again. With God, everything is possible to him who believes, to her who believes. All right? Belief again. There's the word belief again. You have to know that everything is possible for you. And then you have to believe that everything is possible for you. And when you believe it at a core level, you receive it. So with God means also favor. You have favor with God, which means you are set up. You are set up to receive and manifest and achieve the impossible. I hope that resonates with somebody. I hope there's somebody out there that says, you know what? I'm done settling. I'm done settling and just trying to survive. You think that surviving is good enough. I just want to survive this. All right. And sometimes that's all we can muster up, But God has more for you than surviving. All right. He has abundance. He has thriving. He has expansion and succeeding. So you have to decide, I want more than surviving. I'm not settling for surviving. I'm going for thriving. I'm going for more. I'm going for abundance. I'm going for respect. I'm going for validation. Okay? That's right. I know, Dee. I know you've been surviving. And for those of you who don't know, Dee has, you've been hit with cancer over the last 10 years. I don't know how many times. For her to just be able to survive is a big deal. For her to survive all she's gone through is a big deal. But she can hope for more. She can hope for more. God has more for her. but it is a matter of us knowing that and believing that and receiving that. So I hope you, whoever you're watching this, and you can let me know, please, in the replay, do you want more than surviving? Do you want to achieve the impossible with God? Because you can. You can. It is for you. So that's about all I have for today. Any comments? Anything more you want to say, my good friend Dee? My darling Dee? Oh, I did want to point out this. If Dee is going to write something, I'll just let you have that. Trish had written down in one of the comments from yesterday, okay, about bullying. She said, I wanted to share that I've definitely been bullied by upper management for the past year. It has crushed my confidence, my worth, joy, peace, and increased my anxiety, my doubt, my shame, and loneliness. Okay? Bullying can do that. Crush your confidence, worth, joy, and peace, and increase your anxiety, doubt, shame, and loneliness. As of lately, and Trish is somebody that comes to these calls every day or watches the replay. As of lately, I have felt the shift in my disposition, feeling more confident in my job and putting myself out there. Yay. Yay, good for you, Trish. Management has laid off, I think she means people, and my performance appraisal is coming up. I never hear about the positive, yet not hearing about the negative is wonderful. Okay, step in the right direction. Let's keep the flow of favor going. Keep the flow of favor going strong. All right, Trish, and anybody else who needed that message. Thank you, Dee. I'm glad you liked it. All right, everybody, time to go. Again, if you have something that you want to ask me, something you want me to cover in the remaining time we have till the end of the month, I'd be happy to do that. All right? Okay. Bye-bye.